Hello there, and welcome to Midland Earth. Today I'm joined by my good friend Oliver, and we are going to do a full review of Andor season 2 and get into all the nitty gritty of what we loved, what we might not have loved, what we think of it overall, and how it sits with us in the rankings of all time Star Wars, I think, to be fair. Um, let's take it away, shall we? Where do we start with this, Oliver?
Well, thank you for having me back on the podcast. Obviously, my third appearance after talking about Star Wars as a whole last time for May the 4th and Star Wars Celebration. And then obviously here before when we were talking about films and series that made us, feel certain emotions. So it's good to be back. And now talking about another Star Wars series that, for me, I'm going to say off the bat, probably is the best thing Star Wars has produced as a series as a whole.
I was thinking that too. To be fair, I was watching it. I was kind of like, I think this is like edged out everything else. Just
Yeah, I think
it just takes you on a roller coaster, doesn't it? To be fair, from start to finish.
peak writing, and I think the biggest thing for me watching it with my dad, who's someone that doesn't really a big Star Wars fan. He does like sci-fi and he likes things that are out there. Unfortunately, he's a Trekkie, so if you can get someone from Star Trek over to Star Wars, I think that's a big win. And I just think sometimes people see that it's not all spaceships and guns and fighting, but building relationships, building characters, and having something pay off, 3 or 4 episodes down the line, not always getting that answer straight away, I think is very good writing by Tony Gilroy, of course.
I mean, yeah, I think what stood out to me the most was just, I don't know, just the real. It's just real, isn't it? Like, there's so many.
Yeah.
I think they took quite a lot of swings as well with the character development and stuff.
Definitely, I think that's the biggest strong suit. That I think when each character gets their time on screen, it's not wasted.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about characters in the show that we could spend another hour breaking down every individual character, cameo, and this and that on the lead on to future films and projects and stuff. But just alongside the main cast, they're supported by such a good supporting cast that it's never wasted. Every episode, every minute is utilized well. I think the only discredit I would probably have about Andor season 2 is probably how it started. How I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of how it started with Andor delivering the TIE fighter, the new project, ship that they were doing there, from which he stole, which obviously started off really well, and he had an insider.
Did we ever actually find out what that was used for?
Not really. I think it was kind of understanding what their ships were understanding, because of the fact that, of course, the rebels had like the X-wing, and then the Empire had the TIE Fighter. That it helped learn what they were doing with that, because his middleman, who was obviously taken away by that group, I just felt like it was a wasted episode for me. Some people might have enjoyed that atmosphere. It was obviously on a planet we've seen before, but I just felt like, especially if they weren't going to build from that rebel group, because it looks like they died on that planet with all those creatures, and in the end, Andor escaped again. But I just don't think there was a payoff there. That was the only discredit I could say about Andor season 2. After that, it really kicks into gear.
I mean, I do think the first 3 were probably the weakest.
Yeah.
To be fair, but I suppose it is like establishing characters and establishing themes, and it's like the beginning of a movie, isn't it? Essentially, like you're bringing in everybody and you're setting the tone.
Exactly, and especially the way they did it this season, where every 3 episodes then had a time jump. It's not just one continuous story which follows on, play by play in Andor season 1, where he goes from his home planet to then go and do the heist, to then go into prison, to then do that. It's good because you can see how everyone evolves in those different time jumps, from the Senate side to the actual action side to Luthen's side. I think it is good to have those jumps, but like you say, I think the first 3 episodes to really get you into it. It kind of started off slow and then really started to pick up from episodes, 6 to 9, and then after that, I'd say onwards. I've got to put a special feel out for episode 8, which is the one where
the
Cyril
yeah.
dies, unfortunately. So if you haven't seen it, apologies for the spoilers.
Well, this is going to be a full spoiler review, so if people are.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go.
I can talk about everything. That was my intention anyway. So I can't. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to not talk about anything because there's so much that happens in this. I want to just hash it all out.
That's the biggest thing. I've got my notes in front of me is that I had to start there. I just think that episode is peak Star Wars. It has all of the action that you need, with seeing someone who's seen as like a bad guy on the Empire side come to see the light that actually this big organization, this big machine.
It reminded me of. Have you ever watched that sketch show? It's like Mitchell and Webb or something.
Never seen it. No, it gives you that kind of vibes.
It's like they do this sketch where they're like, "Are we the baddies?" Like these guys are like in these uniforms, and they're like, "Are we the bad guys?" And they're thinking like a comical thing. But like I was thinking of that when I was watching it. I was like, he's discovering that like he's like the bad guy kind of thing, and he's been on the wrong side like the whole time kind of thing.
But when you get institutionalized into that, it's so difficult to see any other viewpoint. Obviously, that's a big thing that we look at with Dedra, who in the end gets shortcomings of having to then be in Andor's position, which he was in the last season. They've obviously not shown that. I actually had a feeling that she might have died. I don't know if we had a discussion ourselves either in the podcast last time or afterwards, that I don't know why I had an inkling that to get the fans going, I thought Vader might have ended up showing up and killing her. I don't know why.
But it's interesting to see the difference between what happened with Cyril and what happened to Dedra, because obviously he had his mum, where she was just like, it made it out that she was like an orphan or something, didn't it? That was like raised by the Empire and stuff. So it's interesting to see how different they are, even though they were together.
Yeah, well, I don't think Cyril was ever loved by Dedra. I feel like she was just using him just to further her own agenda, and it was just a case of her people management. The reason she got her role in the first place in the Empire, and using the right person, the right place, the right time kind of mantra, I think was her outlook. It's obviously not been really confirmed that that's what she was doing, but that's my viewpoint. I don't know if you feel the same.
I mean, I think the relationship like progressed in a really, like by the end, like a really surprising way. Like his like meltdown at the end when he was like, I don't know, he was like abusive towards her, wasn't he? Because he's like his world was like crumbling, and he didn't really know.
Yeah.
And he thought that she might have been like the cause of it, kind of thing. It's just.
Yeah, I think as well, him getting that promotion to the planet was all her doing. It wasn't anything that he did himself. It was so she could put him there to oversee and be an insider to the rebels there. So yeah, I think their relationship is very unique, and we've not really had a relationship like that in Star Wars, really. I got to see their panel at Comic-Con Japan, or Celebration Japan, and they look so good together off camera, but it just always felt awkward when they were on camera together in that form of relationship. So yeah, and to be fair, just a side point, I really think he should have kept his beard in the show, like he does outside of Andor, because he looked really cool with it, and I think that would have been an added touch. But for him being a clean shaven army, for the Empire, I guess that fits the look. So just a side point there.
Do you think that if he hadn't died, he would have joined the rebels and stuff? Or not?
I definitely think so. It was going that way, but as soon as he saw Andor, you just knew what was going to happen. It was him really that changed his life. Him just going a bit too far and following up on what seemed a petty crime at the time. He then became a bigger thing, and then that really kind of changed to then Dedra trying to find Luthen, of course, from that Andor case as well. So without him, they would never have got to that stage as regards the investigation. And hey, maybe the rebellion would have made it a bit easier, a bit harder. You don't know. There's a lot of ifs and buts.
I mean, some reviews that I've been watching have been saying that like Cyril started off as nobody and basically ended as nobody.
Yeah, I think it's
because like because he obviously no one really he was in like a kind of nothing job one day, and then even in his last moments, like Andor was like, "Who are you?" Like he couldn't even remember who he was. So like,
well, they'd never met. They'd never met. Andor never knew him at all, obviously, because Cyril knew him from all of the pictures and stuff he was putting out there from the investigation. And it's the fact that the person that then eventually kills him or helps kill him doesn't even know why he was attacking him after all. So yeah, I think that build up and that angst which we were building to on the planet. Again, we knew the reason why what was happening there. They didn't at the time, and the rebellion didn't, of course. Having the French, I think they're all French, if I remember them saying, them coming in and having that French Revolution where they're trying to get out the oppressors of their planet.
And they're all singing at the end.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm a big musical theatre fan, and it just reminded me of Les Mis.
Yeah.
A lot.
I don't think stormtroopers have ever been scarier than that episode as well. You know, like when
no,
boxing them all in and stuff. They were like, oh.
Box, you could just feel it was a pressure cooker, wasn't it? And it was just waiting for someone to set the match. And as soon as someone did, you know, the Empire knew what they were doing with sending those rookies out, waiting for them to make a mistake, which they did. And then as soon as it went, obviously they brought in the K2 droids. We got to see a good cameo from K2SO, who's one of my favourite droids.
Them droids were like proper scary as well. It's like Terminators, weren't they?
They are. Of course, they have their weaknesses like a lot of the Empire droids, but they fit their purpose and, you know, the armor they've got. Again, we've probably seen them more on the friendlier side with Rogue One, and obviously now with Andor. We got to see them in season 1 as well, a K2 droid, whether or not it was actually K2SO or it was just a K2 unit that was arresting Andor at the time. So, yeah, I think that episode will be the one that was the definition of Andor season 2, as much as say like the finale when you get some final payoff from everything. I actually think that was the best episode, and I think it's the highest rated one as well on all of the media outlets. If you ever have a look, I think it's right up there, like 9.5, 9.8 out of 10, or 4.8 out of 5, whatever you're looking at.
But yeah, it was mega.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're talking about all these side characters. We haven't even talked about the main character yet, and that really shows the strengths of this show. So Cassian Andor, going into this show, there was only 2 or 3 people that we actually knew in Star Wars universe before this. So having all of these new characters be in this show and making their mark and leaving their mark in Star Wars hearts, like some of these characters are going to be up there in some of my favorite characters in whole of Star Wars.
Yeah, who would you say would you put in that category?
Well, I'm a big Bix fan, and it's not just because she's a nice looking character and stuff that helps. I just think story of what she went through in season 1.
Yeah, I mean,
then
I was a bit worried.
How she grew.
I was a bit worried they were going to make her like kind of like a bit of a victim, like constantly in this show. But then, obviously, what happened with that officer and stuff was traumatic.
Yeah.
But then they kind of it was kind of like a revenging kind of angel after that, when she just kind of wanted to get back at the Empire.
Definitely.
Quite good.
All that hardship with her battle with the drugs and stuff to help her sleep, and Luthen figuring that out straight away. He knows and probably has been there in that situation, and the fact that she has that will and determination to get over it, and just her being mentally strong to know that if she wanted to have a happy life, she had to come away from the rebellion, and for Andor to really unlock himself with her not being there, I think is a good decision from her. I'm a big bad guy fan, so Major Partagas, who was Dedra's superior.
Surprised what happened to him in the end. To be fair, 'cause I didn't really see that coming.
I was absolutely devastated when he obviously decided to take his own life. But again, another one like Cyril that decided that he was on the wrong side the whole time. And I'd like to know how long it had been that he knew he was probably on the wrong side, but still did that facade of his character. Is again good writing, good acting from him. And he just became one of my favorite characters from season 1, and just carried on into season 2 when he helped Dedra go on that project and put a good word in with director Krennic and stuff like that. Again, I'm not a big director Krennic fan.
Him.
I
like Krennic.
I'm not. No, him and Moff Tarkin, they rub me the wrong way.
Okay.
Again, I don't know, but yeah, those two in particular. Of course, Cassian Andor. Again, anyone you could say. The biggest one that grew on me this season was Luther.
Yeah, he was good.
Was
I like that they kind of kept it realistic with what happened to him as well. Like we could have thought like, oh yeah, he's gonna have like a big heroic kind of shootout death or something, but then it was just no, he just ultimate sacrifice for the rebellion and stuff, didn't he? Like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Knowing the canon like we do, the good thing watching it alongside my dad, who knows absolutely nothing about the Star Wars canon. Every project I watch with him is a new thing. It's good for him to realize actually this has happened because of this. Whereas when we know the canon, we know that he's not seen again or talked about really after Andor. So you knew in the back of your mind he was probably going to die somehow. And like you say, was it going to be in a blaze of glory and like a sacrifice? It obviously was, but in a different way to maybe what we envisioned. But I would have loved to have seen or have the viewpoint that my dad did, knowing that he hadn't seen Rogue One as well.
Okay.
We watched Rogue One a day after that we watched the end of Andor, and he loved it because he felt like even though we got the ending that we did, Andor finishing with Rogue One was a perfect ending for him as a neutral. And again, we'll probably talk about that soon. But yeah, for Luthen, the biggest character growth for me this season for how I felt about him to then how I ended feeling about him. He comes from an Asturias family, the Skarsgårds anyway, so it's not like I wasn't expecting bad acting from them. They're notorious for being good actors as family, so yeah, a great actor. And his relationship with Claire as well. We got an episode to see how
she's
they got to meet.
Stepped up as an interesting character in this season 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Badass in that hospital episode. God.
Oh yeah, and to find out that this is her first major acting role, I don't know if you've read that. She came straight out of acting college to come and take this role, and to see her, the sky's the limit. It really is. So hopefully we get to see her in more projects, not just Star Wars, but everywhere else. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for the name and for the face. I'm more of a face guy than a name guy. So when we're talking about the actors, I'm not necessarily good at remembering the actor's name.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to talk about as well is all of the Easter eggs.
Oh yeah.
In Andor, I don't know if there was quite a few cameos you might have seen, particularly in like Luthen's shop. Throughout the season,
there was a Gungan skull in there. Did you see that?
Yeah, a Gungan skull, one of the shields, if you'd seen as well.
Wasn't there a couple of Padme's like headdress things as well in there?
Headdresses, yeah. And my favourite one was Starkiller's armour. I don't know if you. Yeah, it was on the mannequin, and every time they went in the shop, it had moved. They'd moved the mannequin. So I'm a big gamer. So playing Star Wars, Force Awakens, or is one of those Force Unleashed, shall I say, is one of one of my favorite games. Obviously, he'll never be canon, I don't think, because of how overpowered they made him in the games. But yeah, it was a good nod and cameo to him. So yeah, even like the knife that Luthen decided to stab himself with, I think has some meaning in a previous Star Wars project. So
Proper samurai style that was, wasn't it? Trying to.
samurai style. Even like they had some of the stones from like the father, the son, the daughter, of the Force.
Oh yeah, I thought I'd seen something like
Or
that.
didn't they? I think. So that was a good throwback, and again, we might be getting that in live action at some point. With Sam Witwerth potentially playing the son, who obviously plays Starkiller. So again, a nod for a future project potentially. So yeah. Other than that, I think Andor paces well. There's again another character that my dad really liked is Mon Mothma. We haven't talked about her yet.
Yeah, she was.
Uh,
I like where you start with her. Like with her daughter and stuff. Because am I right in thinking that she's essentially selling off her daughter so that they can fund the rebellion? Is that what she?
exactly. So they, at the end of the last season, obviously the Empire are changing how they're doing their banking, so they're checking a lot more bank accounts ins and outs. So for her charity funds and stuff, which is the Republic, of course, they were checking that more and more. So she had her friend come and be a middleman for her, but she then had to basically, like you say, exchange her daughter for funds, which is a big sacrifice in the wedding. I think her daughter was pretty happy and took it pretty well. Kind of like what happened to Mon Mothma herself. She was in that same situation with her relationship with her husband, which is again another talking point. But to see Luthen actually dispose of her friend from college, had him assassinated, was definitely something that I could see coming as well. He didn't really seem like he was the most trustworthy as much as she thought he was. So.
I like that everyone was kind of afraid of him, weren't they? But then by the end, like
Yeah,
even Andor was on in his corner saying that like this wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Like he's done
yeah,
so much that you guys aren't even aware of, kind of thing. And you just,
yeah,
I love that. It kind of
yeah,
showed.
definitely.
It kind of showed the. I don't know. The dark
Well,
side.
you need a spark. You need a spark to get that flame, and he was that spark for sure. And when we see the episodes when he's with Claire, and he chooses not to save the people that were going to get shot and executed like she wanted to, when you're picking your battles, and it's hey, look, unfortunately, these people have to be sacrificed for the greater good. That 6 lives in the grand scheme of things saves thousands, millions, billions of lives afterwards if he picks the right battle, which we then got our first cameo back to Naboo for the first time
Yeah,
in
I thought.
20
Yeah, I
years.
thought it was.
Screen. Which was the last time when we went to Revenge of the Sith, where it was seen. So yeah, that's a good cameo, and he blew up, the Imperial stuff on the bridge there. So him being important, but Mon Mothma, her speech, we can't not talk about the speech and her trying to get away from
Am I right in thinking
Coruscant.
that speech ties into Rebels? Does it or something? Is that?
Rebels. Now this has been the biggest talking point where what she says is different
Yeah, I saw that.
to what is said in Rebels. So a lot of people are saying, well, if it's the same speech, obviously it's from a different perspective, and hey, I'm more open to perspective rather than saying this is this and this is this. Some people say it might be a completely different speech as well, where she gets taken away to do another speech after we leave Andor, and he comes away and she goes for a second speech. Um, so maybe that could be it, but nonetheless, whatever the answer, it was so powerful. And the fact that they couldn't turn her off and couldn't stop her from saying what I'm sure a lot of people were feeling was very powerful. Words speak larger than actions sometimes, and in that way of fighting the battle in the courtroom in that way. I think she aced it.
Did you like the inclusion of Bail Organa in the series, or like when he came in?
I'm not too upset about the recasting. I know a lot of people were.
I thought he was pretty good.
I think he was really good. I don't know if it was because of the time constraints on. Was it because of how young he needed to look at that time, or was it because the actual actor was way on something else? Is that correct?
You couldn't get the actor back, I don't think. They couldn't work out.
Right. Okay, that's fine. I wasn't 100% sure on both of them, both of the options. So, but great casting, I think. If you're going to do it, I think they did it well, and I've got no complaints from me. So,
yeah, I think he was really good.
I think he was, and sometimes it painted a different image on him as well, because there was a time where he's always been seen as a good person within the politics, obviously with the Jedi, with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda. He even went back to go and try and save someone like Grogu and stuff when they wanted to go and help out. But there was times there where it looked like he wasn't all of the Republic. I know that was framed in a different angle because of his staff not being
Oh, you mean
good.
They were where it was? Yeah, they were dodgy and like on his time.
Yeah, and it kind of looked like it was him doing it.
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't. It was they were planted, but it just gave me a different outlook that sometimes he's not. Blue is blue, red is red. So it's. It was good to see a different angle on him because I've always thought as him, obviously as Leia's dad and all the stuff he does in the politics. So yeah, he was a good cast as well. Other than that, I think we need to talk about the ending, of course. We get to see Andor go to, eventually, which becomes his death, to meet Jyn Erso. We get to see him look at the Jedi healer on the way out.
Like a Force towards the end. Do you think it was cool or right?
Yeah, I think that was really good. Obviously, he's very hesitant. He's never really seen a Jedi in the battle, really, because a lot of them after Order 66 aren't really making themselves known. So the fact that she's there on a smaller scale, just helping while healing, is good. And then I think when you see her look at him, I think there's a nod there to know that she knows that he's not coming back.
She kind of looks a little bit sad, doesn't she? But like it's kind of
to
happen.
He does. And I think that is a little detail. These details, they really get me. And I know
when she was talking to Biggs as well, there was like the shot was angled, so she took a hand, didn't she? So it was kind of implied that she knew that she was kind of pregnant as well. So like,
yeah,
he would have known he was never going to meet that kid, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
so yeah, now that we've talked about obviously at the end when she has the kid, have you seen the rumors on who it potentially could be?
Oh, you mean the Poe ones, where it's Poe Dameron?
What do you think? What do you think?
I think they could just make it a new character that could appear at some point. I don't think it has.
I do like the Poe link though because it'll give him.
Then you lose the Andor name, and there's no more Andors. Whereas like there could be like a something Andor like out there, couldn't there? Like you meet.
Yeah.
I think he would be though, so he could be in the Resistance somewhere.
Yeah, the only reason I liked it is because then it gives Poe a reason on why he's in the Resistance already. Because when we watch Force Awakens, he's just there and he's in it and he's just part of it. Which sometimes you don't need explanations, but for someone of his caliber, acting wise, if he has more fleshed out, maybe there's a chance of him coming back. You never know what they're going to have in store. So if it is true and they approve it and they guarantee, they confirm it, great. If not, it's up to us as Star Wars fans to fall out with each other and manifest what we want.
I don't know. I reckon they've planted it so that Disney have got another character to use. I reckon there'll be like an Andor season 3, and it'll like do like a 20-year jump or something. It'll be like his child like somewhere. I reckon.
Yeah.
Disney just getting something else out of another series. I reckon.
Yeah, they're milking the cow, so why not? They're doing it a bit more. So
that scene at the end though, flipping it caught me off guard. How emotional I got just seeing that.
Yeah,
there was some
seeing that.
Like, that he could carry on, and there was like hope, and like Biggs was okay and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's important for the Star Wars fans that obviously know why that's important. Because if you're watching it, when you're watching it and you don't know about Rogue One, you think, oh, don't worry, he's going to do this mission, and then he's going to go and find her. But it hits so much harder knowing that he's not going to get back. He's not going to get back, and that's his story. But the good thing I enjoyed about it was I didn't see a baby coming at all. Like sometimes you can see things at the start of the season and going, okay, hey, this is going to happen and whatever. But I actually was really surprised. It caught me off guard when I saw her with a baby at the end. And I'm really glad they didn't leave the droid on that planet by himself. I'm glad someone went back and went and got him, because I felt really bad for the droid that they just left after what had all happened there on the farmland planet. So yeah, because that was the last nod to his mum, of course, Andor's mum, with her personal droid. They obviously got some shout out from the people in season 1 when they did that post with Andor on Mon Mothma's sister, to all the people that they'd lost on the journey on the way there. So that was nice. I appreciate a nice name drop there. So yeah.
Oh, she was another good character as well. Is it Val? Is it Val?
Val, yeah, that's her name. Yeah,
Mon Mothma's
I
cousin or
couldn't.
something. She's a brilliant character.
Yeah, I actually thought that. I don't know why I had it in my head. I actually didn't think they were actually related, Mon Mothma and her. I thought someone like Luthen might have planted a near Mon Mothma to be a family member who's a spy, but they were like related through the.
It's like she comes from like a similar like lineage to like Mon, and she like obviously chose to
Yeah,
join the rebels and stuff and not
the
be.
fact they give up that lifestyle to fight the rebellion is not what many people would do. I would think to give up the luxury and security of, hey, just doing what you're doing, even with the Empire, I don't think they would necessarily have much trouble. So yeah, to give it up and seeing that picture of them eating with the rest of the rebels on the table, like they're not a hierarchy, was important, I think. What do you think about the fall of, like, obviously they had to change her hair so she looks like she is in like Return of the Jedi?
So she
That's one of the biggest heartbreaks, because obviously she looks so good normally with her hair when she's got that front on, but then this is the real her. She cuts her hair, she changes her clothes, and then she's a completely different person. So yeah, I think that's very important.
I think I like that they showed like the emotional toll that it took on her as well to like
Definitely.
leave that stuff behind. Like with her daughter's wedding and stuff, when they're all dancing at the wedding and stuff, and she's just kind of
she has to let loose. Yeah,
just like that's going to be the last time that she's going to be free to kind of enjoy herself, I suppose. And kind of I like that it just kept going. The music kept cutting back to that music like, on and on again, like it was just going and going kind of thing.
I have enjoyed seeing the memes from that as well. I think that's been memed to death now with all of the different Star Wars musics that have been in. So yeah, that is a long living piece. So yeah, now we just need to enjoy this, and now we're gonna have a bit of a gap in between the next Star Wars project. And I just don't hope we rate everything else against how good this is. That's the next step, because we've talked non-stop now about how that is, and I think comparing this against everything else is going to be such a bad thing to do, because we need to take every project out.
This is the thing that kind of surpasses the genre, really, doesn't it? It's kind of like the Dark Knight, like it just goes above. It's in a different zone into it. We kind of need to let that go, I think.
Definitely, we enjoy it as it is,
hopefully they'll take
we move.
it as a, I don't know, as like a blueprint for what to do in the future. Hopefully, like they can be adult Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like it can be Star Wars with the extra war in it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm interested to see if Tony Gilroy has any more projects. Has he still got a good relationship with Disney and with Star Wars? Do we know if this last project? I have no idea. Outside of
I mean, I think he's
this.
kind of done what he wanted to do. I think, from what I can tell. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have a spin off or something. Possibly. I don't know what that would be, but.
What do you think about one of the things I was going to ask you was what do you think about not seeing Andy Serkis's character again from season 1? I actually thought he was going to be in it in some points,
Yeah,
but
I was a bit disappointed, but I think there was enough going off that kept me
yeah,
not thinking about it too much. I think.
there was no way they could probably tie him in with what was going on, I guess.
I mean, he could have been Yavin somewhere maybe or something, or like
Yeah, but
like.
how he would have got there, because he obviously wasn't a part of a resistance. He'd been in there that long that he didn't know there was a resistance out there, I guess. So
That's
where he goes, if he survived, because of course he can't swim,
mm,
just like me. So I'd be exactly the same boat. When I heard that line for the first time, I was like, I feel you, brother. I feel you. So yeah, I think that's that. Andor season 2. I don't really have anything else to add. I think it's a Star Wars project that is one on its own, and something that should be held in Star Wars eyes. For the fans as a standalone project, not to be judged against anything else Star Wars, because there's nothing like it. And I think everything about it is a 10 out of 10 for me, and it's right up there.
did you enjoy the humour machine that is K2SO? Yeah, at the end.
Yeah, he's so good, and of course he's funny, but he's also serious with some of the moments that he had. And again, growing to see him and his relationship with Andor before Rogue One was important. Seeing them play cards and stuff like that is funny as well.
I love that he's like humorous, but he's still got that like droid
Yeah,
brutality in him, where that guy's like a human shield and stuff. I was like, he didn't even need to do
I,
that; he just did it.
I think Star Wars does that well with all their droids. To be fair, with people like R2D2, where they have the sassy moments, even though they're not talking. He's sassing someone, or someone like Chopper, who's the nearest. Who you can kind of figure out the words he's saying from the grunts and the noises.
Hugh Yang as well.
Um,
Hugh Yang sassy.
Hugh Yang, you know what? Very, very good. And a newer to the canon Star Wars ones was really funny as well. So yeah, I think they do droids very well, and that was just another version of it.
Trying to think of anything else to talk about, really.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously,
I think
everything
how
from here you
else.
could probably,
What rating would I give it? I mean, it's got to be high up there, isn't it? Really, it's not really. I mean, like you say, the start was a bit ropey, but maybe like a 9, maybe.
yeah, yeah, that's respectable. Where does it stand in comparison to, say, your other favorite Star Wars project?
I mean, I think it's my favourite, to be fair,
No,
because I've always. I don't know if it's just getting older. You know what I mean? Like you do kind of. Because I always take the star bit as like the Jedi stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's Jedi's and
yeah,
like mysticism and all that kind of stuff, and then the war bit's always been interesting to me. It's like she's not had much of it in.
yeah.
It's been more Jedi focused, hasn't it? So like, I've always kind of wondered what it was like for the more grounded people.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're getting older, like you say, your appreciation of what Star Wars is comes away from the Jedi, the Sith sometimes,
Yeah,
and the lightsaber battles, and the in space battles between the TIE fighters and the X-wings and stuff.
I think
For more realistic.
this has definitely affected me more on like on a personal and emotional level than like the normal stuff. Like, well, I say normal Star
Yeah,
Wars, but I mean like the more Jedi stuff. I think I don't know why.
yeah, yeah.
Just because it's
And
more.
it's just because of how well written everyone is, how well written the plot is,
Mm.
and I think this show has some of the best written women
Mm-hmm.
in any form of media out there, I would say.
I mean, it's quite.
Um,
I suppose it's quite fitting, really, because like Princess Leia was like one of the first like
yeah,
strong women, wasn't she, in like a film, like in a big film, I suppose.
yeah,
She was like strong-headed and like a leader, and like she's kind of always.
yeah. So I think it's a good representation of what they want Star Wars to be moving forward, hopefully, and the standard they're going to set themselves. But yeah, hopefully from everyone that's watched it or will watch it, from a recommendation from us, from anyone they've seen, just take it at face value, take it as a project by itself, and don't be comparing it to Clone Wars or to Rebels. And if you've watched those, enjoy the little cameos, the little Easter eggs that mean a lot to the Star Wars fans. But if you're watching it as a neutral, as a project by itself, I think you're going to find plenty to keep you coming back for more and get your teeth into, for just caring for the characters and for what could happen moving forward after each episode. So that's the biggest review of Star Wars Andor I can give.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to know anything about Star Wars to watch Andor. To be honest, I think you could literally just watch season 1, season 2, Rogue One.
Absolutely.
A great complete story. It'd be brilliant. But yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. To be fair. But yeah, watch it, 100%. Hope you've enjoyed me and Oliver talking about it. Have you got anything else to add, Oliver? Or
no, it's been great to be back and just talking to one of my best friends about something that we're both passionate about. And hopefully, if people decide to listen, to watch, I think you'll find some value in, just talking about the characters. And I hope you go and watch it yourself. So yeah, enjoy Star Wars Andor, and it's been great speaking to you.
please comment on this video below as well if you agree with us or you disagree, or let us know what characters you enjoyed and what you didn't enjoy. If you found the beginning a little slow, or what were your favourite 3 episodes, please let us know. And as always, please like and subscribe. And also let us know which characters you would like to see potentially pop up in other things. Because I'm trying to think who I'd like to see. Possibly like is it Clea or Clara or something like that? What's her name?
Claire.
Clea, yeah, she'd be a good character to come back round again.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Like Val and some of the. What's it? Is there any male characters?
Not really. A lot of them died with the battle in Rogue One, I would say.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely like to see what happens going forward. I wonder what if they're going to bring in any good characters into the Ryan Gosling movie.
Maybe.
But we'll see what that turns out like, and I'm sure in the future we'll be doing more theories and stuff on that. So please join us again for another Star Wars related thing, probably, because me and Oliver love a bit of Star Wars, don't we? So
Always. You'll see me there. Always.
may the Force be with you.
Exactly.
Right, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye for me.